Okay, so this is my Ascaso Steel Uno Professional version 3, which I've had for about a year and a half. It's my first real espresso setup. I started off with a Breville, but I moved on to this one once I got a bit more serious. It's basically the equivalent of a Rancilio Silvia, but it's got some additional benefits, I think. The version 3 of this machine, so this one has an 11-ounce brass boiler, 325 milliliters. It has the same commercial build quality as a Silvia. So it has a 58 millimeter commercial group and portafilter. The portafilter is chrome-plated brass. This one in particular has the bottomless and a dual spout portafilter, which is right over here. It's got four switches. It's got the power switch over here. This switch over here is for the pump to brew coffee. This guy over here is for water through the steam wand, and this is your steam mode over here. It's got a three-way solenoid valve. It has an adjustable OPV on it. I have this one set up at 12 bars, but I'll get to that a little bit later on. The drip tray is pretty cool. It's pretty deep, it's pretty big. It's got these two slots in there, so it doesn't let you spill water when you're carrying it around going to empty it into the sink. So that's pretty cool. It's got a side-loading water tank, which is really good if you're sticking this thing underneath the counter, because you could just fill it from the side as opposed to fitting a jug underneath the counter to fill it from the top. So that's pretty good. There are a couple of modifications that I did with this machine. Like I said, I got a bit serious about it. This has an ARS CP3A pump, vibration pump, and I also installed a 49 millimeter manometer gauge here, sourced from Vibiemme. It's on the brew line. It's on the brew circuit rather, and I also have a dimmer switch which I installed to the pump. And what that does, that lets you vary the voltage that goes to the pump, and that pretty much means you can do some low pressure pre-infusions, that you can sustain low pressure pre-infusions, and you can do some pressure profiling with it as well. I installed the dimmer switch maybe about a year ago. I haven't had any problems with the pumps. I know online there were some concerns that something can go wrong with the pump, but nothing so far. I did this to another machine, a Gaja Classic, and I haven't had any problems with that one either. So far so good. But I have the stock Ulca pump that came with the machine as well. So I'll brew a shot in just a minute. But this is the iSteel i1 grinder, which is also from Ascaso. It's also pretty good. I think both of these machines are a bit more, well, I find them favorable to the Rancilio setup, which is the Silvia and the Rocky. This guy has 54 millimeter hardened steel flat burrs. It is stepless, so it's got a worm gear attached to the burr, so you can make really precise grind adjustments, whereas the Rocky is stepped. And it's an on-demand grinder, so you just push in the portafilter switch there, and it just doses right out. I usually use a scale to measure my beans, but whatever, to each their own. Okay, so I had a couple of questions about how the pre-infusion and the pressure profiling system works. So I figured I'd pull a shot for you guys. Usually when I watch videos online, the machines are crazy loud. These ones aren't too bad, but whatever. It's a vibration pump machine, and it's around a $300 grinder too, right? So I'll just dose into the portafilter. Whatever, I'm not weighing the shot or anything. I don't think I could tip this over enough for you guys to see the grinds. I doubt that's coming through on camera, but they're not too bad. It does get clumpy on the finer settings, but which grinder doesn't? So, tamp this down. Okay, so purge the machine. It's got pretty good flow through the shower screen. Wipe it off just a bit. There we go. And I don't actually care too much about the shot. I just want to focus in more on the pressure gauge. So I'm hoping I'm not going to mess up the shot here. So what I like to do is I like to turn on the water, and then I bring down the dial right here. I should have mentioned this before. This is the steam wand dial, and this is the dial that controls the dimmer switch. So when I brew, I'm going to bring that back, and it's going to prevent the pressure from building, well, past whatever I set it to. So we'll see how this goes. Usually I like to keep it at around 2 bars until I see the first drips, and then I ramp it up to 9 bars. So here we go. So there we just started moving up, so I just dialed back the pressure a bit, so we're at about 2 bars. And there's the first couple of drops of espresso. And then I lift it gradually up to 9 bar. And there's my shot pulling. I think this more closely resembles flow profiling, if I'm honest. But I'm not too sure. But there's the shot. I don't know how this is coming across on the camera, but it's looks pretty nice. Just to demonstrate the pressure profiling, I can go up to about 12 bars, so that's where I have the OPV set. But it's pretty controllable, so if I want to go to 4 bar, I can hit 4 bar. I can ramp it back up to 8 bar pretty easily. Okay, as you can see, there's quite a bit of range here. Okay, normally I keep it at 9 bar. You can ramp it down at the end of the shot, and then I'll just kill off the shot. And that is the machine. I will say that, in my opinion, this drastically improved the quality of espresso coming out of the shots. So I would totally recommend doing this if you have a single boiler setup. Like I said, I did it on a Gaggia Classic as well, and it works there perfectly fine as well. And yeah, that's the machine. Last thing I probably would mention is the steam pressure on this machine's pretty crazy as well, especially for a single boiler. It's got some serious pressure. It's right up there with the Sylvia, I'm pretty sure. But it's got a multi-directional no burn wand, and the PID, I think, pretty much helps with the steam pressure there too. So yeah, post a comment if you or a question if you have one. I'd be more than glad to help. Thanks.